Dear Ole Dammegard, I'm so happy to see you once more after our two first interviews together the last months. I would like to introduce you quickly for the people who doesn't know you yet. You're a famous figure in the landscapes of investigative journalism. You're a former musician turned tireless seeker of the truth. You have devoted more than 44 years to exploring the gray areas of political assassinations and false flags attacks. Your rigorous and often controversial work has brought to light disturbing connection between various attacks and the presumed involvement of states or para-state networks. This interview looks at your journey, your discoveries, and the inner metamorphosis that led you to make this choice.
Can I just say thank you so much, Isabel, for this beautiful introduction. At the moment, or for the last many years, I've been my truth finding has not been popular among the people that are carrying it out. In other words, we're talking about state-sponsored terrorism, NATO operations, many dark things that have happened. That, if I'm correct, are leading us back to the very same power structure that is trying to globalize and take over this world and take away our freedoms in more or less all areas. So I feel that I hope and I feel that we're close to a shift. Things are changing very rapidly and things are shaking and things are being destroyed. But in the same way that this is somehow some kind of a death process, there's also a birth process going on where a whole new paradigm, whatever that form will take, I have no idea. But I feel that we're close. And I think that we're right in this process of dying and being born. This is very painful for most of us. And it is also in a situation where we need to deal with all things that is not healed inside of us. We cannot move on without being healed on all levels. So we need to face these things. Not nice. I would wish this wasn't the way it is, but it's just like in my life, at least, it's sort of like boom, and then boom, and then boom. And sort of like, okay, I deal with this one, boom, that's the next one. It just goes on and on.
You have been investigating political assassinations and false flags operation for, again, 40 years. And recent revelations, particularly about JFK and the alleged involvement of the CIA, seem to corroborate some of your thesis. How do you feel about this belated validation of your work? How do you feel with that? And do you have other examples of revelation that have also confirmed your work, your hypothesis?
For me, I'm not here to prove a point. I'm here to try and find the truth, wherever that takes me. And for some reason, the type of truth I find is often in a different direction than other researchers. Is that right or is it wrong? I can only say I share with me the truth that I find along the way. When you look at the JFK assassination, it's very clear from an early point of view that the CIA was very central in that operation, very central. And with its special hit team, there was a super secret assassination team called Operation 40. That was a major part of that assassination. I identified many of the people involved over the years. I specialized in looking at the truth from a street level point of view. Who was there? Who was doing whatever? Because the power structure behind it is massive and it just goes on and on. So I specialized in one area. And I've come so far that I've been a speaker in Dallas 3 times. I've been invited there. I'm also a close friend to people very close to the center of this, like Lee Harvey Oswald's mistress, Judith Ferry Baker, is a very dear friend of mine who is also, she was working for the CIA at the time, not even really knowing that that was what she was doing, but she was part of a group that was trying to create a bioweapon against Fidel Castro. And the people that were involved in that operation were later part of the JFK assassination as well. I'm also a friend of E. Howard Hunt, who is one of the architects behind working for the CIA, one of the architects of creating this assassination. His name is St. John Hunt. I'm also in contact with other children of former assassins and agents that was part of this whole thing. So it's become very close and personal to me. So anyway, so this release of these documents, like, oh my God, this is now we will finally find the truth. When you look at these operations, and I've learned from assassins from the inside, rule number one with these type of operations is leave no paper trail. So from day one, there has not been documents that will show the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There, on the contrary, there have been thousands of documents pointing out the red herrings, the distraction, the patsies, these leads, but never inwards, never ever inwards. And this is the hit was an unholy alliance with the CIA, the mafia, the Secret Service, and the military-industrial complex, some oil oligarchs, and also the Dallas police office. Handpicked people that are working inside, and the FBI, let's not forget the FBI, that was a massive part of covering the whole thing up with J. Edgar Hoover, but also the whole line of future presidents that was involved in this whole thing to get rid of this problem called JFK and then get their operations going. So with these releases, like now, I think, is it 63,000 documents that Donald Trump is now finally releasing? Somebody like myself should be jumping of joy. Shouldn't be able to sleep at night because, like, oh my God, this will be the holy grail of the truth. Yeah, so out of 65,000, I've said it before they was released, because there was one release in 2017, then one in 2018, one 2021, one 2022, 23 also, and now 2025. So this should be, when you think of it, things that have been top secret for more than 60 years, every single document should be a golden piece, a nugget, a golden nugget. Do you agree? Every document should have weight. There must have been a reason why we were not allowed to see it for 60 years. Do you agree with me? Yes or no?
Of course. But
so can I just say, I've been sitting here scratching my head. I've now gone through about 800 of these 63,000 documents. I have found zero, I say again, zero that has anything at all to do with the JFK assassination. Zero. There's no reference to Dallas. There's no reference to JFK. There's no reference to the 22nd of November. There is a lot of pay slips for agents from 1950 or Bahrain in 1978 or like Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, operations there, or Cuban. There's a lot of Cubans.
So don't you think that this official declassification will mark a turning point in the recognition of a state manipulation then?
This is what I'm in the process of doing, is collecting in a map all the bullshit documents. There is like 97% of all the documents so far has no value whatsoever. So I'm putting them in a bullshit folder, and I'm gonna, once I go through all the 65,000 documents, I will then, or before, release it in like this and just say, okay, if you believe Donald with the hairdo, if you believe, because right now he is in need of being a hero. He is in need of doing heroic acts so that the people will say, oh my God, he is the chosen one. He is, because he's also doing a lot of controversial things that is really connected to his real agenda.
Exactly, like supporting Israel states, Zionism, and Gaza, actually murdering.
It's when you look at the actions. Don't listen to the words. The words,
Yes.
politicians will tell you whatever you want to hear, so that and then they will do whatever they want to do behind once they're elected, you know. And so there's a lot of dark stuff going on. And I want to say also the alleged assassination attempt on Donald Trump, please go to my website, dammegard.com, or Light on Conspiracies, plural.com. I have a recorded webinar. Also, I think you have made a beautiful translation into French of it. Please look through that and you will see, I think it would be very hard for you to argue against that this was a complete psychological operation. Donald Trump was in the center of the whole thing. It was a Jewish ritual for him to be prepared in front of millions of people as a high priest into the new coming Messiah. And so it was carried out very, very carefully for him to regain enough popularity before the election or selection, so that he could be coming in on stage, taking over as it was a psychological operation. And when they didn't get the exact impact, emotional impact they wanted, they created a second attempt on his life just to amp up. It's normal marketing. That's the only thing it is. It's just like a normal marketing campaign.
You mean that they're all playing the same chess game, and they were pretending being enemies? You mean that they were working together, hand in hand, pretending being one against each other, but trying to achieve the same goal?
Isabel, it's very dangerous to say all of them and to take all events and take like, but what you're saying after all of these years, when I've been digging around in these things, it's pointing exactly in that direction. What you are saying, that we are being told that we live in a horrible world, it's dangerous world, it's complete madness, it's complete, we are each other's enemies, Muslims, Hindus, Christians, oh my God, the invasion of all of that chaos, and financial crash. That's what we're being told. If you ask me, the world is absolutely beautiful. Life is amazing. It is stunning. It is absolutely magical. But this body, if you see life as this body, there is a cancer growth on the inside that if we do not expose it, even though it might be painful and smelly and horrible to expose that dark truth, it will kill the body. So we don't really have a choice. We do not really have a choice. And that the way to expose this, to open up this cancer growth, is through the truth. The truth shall set you free, as it said in one of these old books, you know.
Yeah, and this is your outstanding work, actually, is to put into light all these recurring patterns or scenarios in the world, and all these patterns are still at work today, and you're really promoting the beauty behind these false sceneries, false flag, false attacks. So what would be, according to you, the best way on our side not to be hypnotized anymore, not to make ourselves being sucked in our energies, in our emotions by these force that pretend being against each other, but on the other side are playing against humankind. They are working together against humankind. So what can we do to free ourselves from that false scenarios, patterns?
A very good question. Let me polish my crystal ball and see if I can come up. I believe that we are in unprecedented times. This is, you know, for all of these years I've been standing, and many with me, I'm standing, hello, 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 don't get on that train. Do not It's not taking you in the direction that you think. Don't get on it. There's all of these things saying, promoting it. Don't trust them. Look into, and now we are in a point where the train has taken off. So it's almost like being at a fun fair and the ride has started and we're on it. So what can you do if you let your eyes and ears persuade you? This looks very scary. If I listen to my brain, I can get very worried about the world, about NATO countries where most of these things are happening, where when I see the manipulation, also now with the entrance of AI that they've had access to for a long time, this whole thing about it's being new, I don't believe that at all. But indirectly, I think this can also help us to see that we're actually being fed an illusion. You can't trust images, you can't trust videos, you can't trust voices, you can't trust a lot of things now. And I think it has been so for quite a while, but we have not been aware of it. So I think that what you can do is focus on the heart. This is where you get confused. This is overload. You can get overload on information. Also, so much information that many times are designed like this. It will tell you the truth both at the same time as the truth. I forgot what it's called. I think in George Orwell's book 1984, there's a technical term for us being fed this as the truth, but at the same time pointing in two different directions. It sort of neutralizes the brain. It just goes like, and we're being bombarded with so many things at the moment. The speed and the amount of information that is coming in is just unbelievable. So what I've decided to do is I've done my best to say, look at these signs, look at how these operations are put together to deceive you, to all of these things. And millions of people have listened. So I'm very grateful for that. There's a lot of people now super aware. So right now I decided to take a step back. I don't listen to anything hardly. I focus on keeping my inner balance. I focus on gratitude and keeping my spirit high. And
why do you think, Ole, that these strategies of fear and confusion continue to work despite an increasingly informed public? Yes, the public now is informed about all this manipulation, but why do you think it's still this strategy of fear still continue to work?
I think the reason why they keep pushing it on us is because it hasn't worked the way they wanted. If they had wanted, I think that their plan was 2012, that we would be on our knees and totally, pull our pants down and say, we surrender, just do whatever you want. But humanity has this incredible way of just adapting and adjusting and in crisis start helping each other. Instead, psychopaths always see that if they create a situation that is difficult enough, we will start eating each other. We will start killing each other and like that. But many times in the face of disaster or natural, difficulties, whatever, humans have this incredible way of starting to help each other. And suddenly, the neighbor that you don't even know the name of, you're almost willing to sacrifice your life to save them. There's this beauty of the human beings that psychopaths do not understand. And whatever, I don't know who is behind this satanic force, but they don't get it either. And I think there's a jealousy there as well from that force, that we have this thing called love and emotions and empathy, and they don't know how to deal with it. And also creativity. We have this creative, when body and mind aligns, spirit enters. In spiritus, you have this boom download. They don't. So this is also when you look at these false flag operations and so on, they're so not good. It's not the work of any inspired individual is repetition of the same deluded crap over and over and over again, because they don't know how to deal with us. And I think that's amazing.
But on one side, as you said, our aptitude to love and to express compassion is our strength. But on the other hand, they are also taking advantage of that power of the humankind to feel compassion. And that's why they're trying now to share worldwide a positive slogan, you know, to move their agenda, their one world, their agenda 2030, to make it move forward. Like, for instance, you have to love each other, so get the injection, you know, to help the people around you, to help the old people. Or, you have to stop with this also climate change agenda. To save the planet, you have to stop breathing and to stop using CO2, despite the fact that CO2 is the gas of life. And so on and so on. And the Agenda 2030 is really using a lot of this positive slogan to sell political and governmental measures that will affect everybody to dominate the people. So, do you think that this compassion side of the humankind, is it our strength or is it our weak point?
It's our strength. But to be manipulated has nothing to do with compassion. It is, they're using these beautiful words. That when you look at these, it's like anywhere from, do you remember when you were a kid and your parents says, don't, if any old man comes and offers you sweets, do not get into the car, that type of thing. It's the sects. So that old guy, if he was out there hunting for kids, if he was scary, the kids would run away. So he had to sweet talk. He had to like this. It's the same here. It's the same. It's been forever in all the old stories and the Bible and all of these things. You know, the devil or that force will present itself in an opposite way, in a fantastic, so kind, so loving. So it's the same with any kind of dupster, any kind of people that are manipulating and robbing others. They always present themselves in the best way so that we buy into it. So the thing is, it's up to us to become aware of, because they are indirectly showing us in many different ways what they're up to. We just have to see the signs. And the sign nowadays is you have to look, whatever is said, turn it upside down and look at the actions. If you turn it 180 around, like now, Vance and Trump, they're talking about Greenland, for Greenland's protection. Turn it upside down. It has nothing to do with protection. They couldn't care less about the people up there. They never cared about them before. Why this sudden interest? There's a whole different agenda. Turn it upside down. They will say freedom and democracy. It's actually slavery and slaughter. The White House, completely black, it's satanic. The whole whatever it is, they say climate change. No, it's not change, it's manipulation. It's chemtrails and HARP and very DARPA, very advanced technology there to hurt us, So whatever it is, and these people that now, when you say all, I would say, yes, we're almost in a situation where all leaders, I don't know any leaders that are not entangled in this net now, because through the World Economic Forum and the young global leaders, they've been preparing for a long time. So all of these young, beautiful leaders that just pop up of nowhere, many of them women, are not there because of just, wow, where did she come from? She's hardly 19 and like that, but so nice and all. No, they're prepared. It's part of this psychological operation, this whole thing where you have different religions just taking over in country after country. It's not just by coincidence, it's part of the design of this agenda, the agenda of what is called the New World Order, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Agenda 21, just different names of the same madness, if you ask me, is complete destruction of everything. Destroy everything, and out of the ruins build the new world, the New World Order. That's their name. And they have not been hiding what they're up to. They've been talking about it since this, I don't know how long, but out in the open since the 70s, and especially from the 90s and onwards, that this is what we're going to do. We're going to destroy everything, nations, uh, culture, races, sex, gender, uh, education, you name it.
Yeah,
Everything is there.
In the Western world, I think, because I don't think so that Africa or Asia
It's
will be concerned by
no,
destruction, right?
no, that's exactly what you're saying. We're talking, I should have been more clear. It's especially the Western world like that. You got other agendas for like Africa, but Africa has had these where the colonization of these nations have already been done. So that they've already did the job there. So now it's been the Western world, but now Africa and these countries are turning around and is suddenly becoming, I think, exploding in their face. They're losing the grip in these nations. So they're doing everything to regain control. And we got very weird things going on, like now with the Trump offering more or less political asylum for white farmers from South Africa, at the same time boycotting South Africa also. When you look at these things, at least for me, is take a step back. Do not believe the official narrative. There's another thing going on in the background, and very often turn it 180 around, and you will see, oh my, now I see it.
If I understood well, after 40 years of exploring the darkness of the world, Ole, you have find out that love will be always the winner, if I'm right, and which is really a good news, and I believe also, of course, in this. And I would like to ask you what you have discovered about yourself by exploring this darkness, this lie, this collective lie.
Well, one of the things I found was that my life has been a double life without knowing it. That just a few years ago, I found out that both my parents and especially my father was living a double life to the day he died. He died in 1992, and my mother in 2013. I had absolutely no idea, but that they had been involved in NATO operations since after the Second World War, that I am possibly born into this family as a cover because they needed this front of a perfect family. I am not the only one. We have many children that have been born into these operations. I believe that my parents did not marry out of love, but that they were put together as assets in this operation. But they were working for good. They were not doing this out of malice or in after the Second World War and during the Cold War, when Gladio, NATO's ghost army, was being created, the people involved really believed that they were doing the right thing. And I think that if I had been living in that time, and you as well, we would have been involved in that as well. Very possibly. I'm just saying, I at least would have been. But then this whole organization were deceiving them and got hijacked in the end of the 50s. And then it was turned into a terror tool based on the strategy of tension, the operation name for that CIA was using, where they used this uh, this army, ghost army, that was created as a defense mechanism during the Second World War, no, the Cold War, as a protection against an invasion from the East. And instead, they took all of these sleeping assets and sleeping agents that were willing to commit violent crimes and who took orders, and they started using them for all kinds of alleged terror attacks in Europe and in other places also, including bombings of train stations and mass shootings in supermarkets. Many of these alleged terror attacks that we see now are carried out by exactly the same organization that my parents were part of creating in Denmark. It was called Absalon, or Stay Behind, in Denmark. My dad was active in Sweden as well, where this operation, this ghost army, went under the name of Stay Behind. But all NATO countries, including France, had, or I would very strongly suggest, still have this thing. And this is the organization that are behind so many of these atrocities that we see today. So it's actually kind of like bizarre that the thing that my parents were part of creating, I am the one trying to stop.
Absolutely. How did you succeed today, remaining so loving for the people and for the life, despite having exploring all that shit worldwide?
I don't know, Isabel. I don't know. I really think that on a karmic level, this is my dharma. I came to this world. I chose that family to be prepared. It was like a boot camp for me to choose this quite extreme family, and I mean, I was being prepared without even knowing it. I mean, it was just a few years ago that I discovered that my whole life has been connected to this before I was even aware of it. So,
what role does faith or spirituality play in your life, in your work, in that tremendous work of investigation? By what were you inspired and guided, and still today, actually?
I actually think that, you know, when I was 3, 4 years old and people asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said either a stuntman or save the world. And I think somehow I combined the two. But so I think on a spiritual level, this was my path from day one, that I came down as part, I think just like you, as part of um, a network of souls that were working for the light. For me, it's never been a choice. It's just been. I've never, and this is also, I've never doubted that this is going to end bad. You know, the ultimate thing will be, it just, I can get scared. My mind can get scared. My heart knows not a problem at all. It's just a bump in the road and back on track. So, but along the way, I've been extremely inspired by Mahatma Gandhi. And I actually just came back from India, where I found a place where he used to walk. So it was amazing to share footprints with him. And also, I'd just been to South Africa and Johannesburg, where he was for 21 years. So I passed footprints with him there as well. He's been a great, great inspiration for me. Martin Luther King as well. I just have to say also, I met Nelani Chelaram, my spiritual teacher. Him and I, we met her through divine synchronicity, incredible synchronicity. And she's a Raj Yoga teacher, 1 in a billion. And we were so lucky to get her as a teacher. And so she's been by our side for more, I think, yeah, about 20 years. And she has taught us so much from the Raj Yoga, the sutras of Patanjali, the old yoga philosophy. It's not a religion. I'm not religious, but it's sort of like really showing you this is the way. And that was also what inspired Gandhi, the sutras and the Bhagavad Gita.
what are your tools or tricks to help you, and that you can share with us, how to distinguish between false and truth, between wrong and right in what is shared with us among the media, among the news? How can you, what tools can you share with us to work on that ability to identify the truth among the ocean of lies?
Oh, I can say that the ones that are trying to take over, it will be fear-based. Whatever they present to you will be fear-based. It might be um, presented in a beautiful way, but indirectly based on fear. It will also, once you see behind the curtain, it would be to dehumanize, to take away our care for each other, to separate us, to see each other as enemies, to blame each other, and to be in a state of fear. If you look at media, right, it's from such a long time, it's all the time about keeping us in a low frequency of fear. So the real truth will be the opposite. So if it's really like if Klaus Schwab says, love each other, that doesn't really mean the same as if we say love each other. So you have to see who is the one delivering it, and do they live the way. I mean, when Klaus Schwab say you will own nothing and you will be happy, it's not that he's some kind of Buddhist master. If he was, and if he lived with nothing and was still happy, then we could be inspired. But here we're talking about people or whatever they are who live the exact opposite. It's complete bullshit what they're delivering to us. It's a 180 degree. It's just like the man with the candy standing with the car door open. Come, little boy, come, come. Don't worry. I'm going to show you movies. We're going to have such a great time. That's the one. You have to see who it comes from. And so we're back to the heart frequency again. I don't know. It is, and now it's more, I would say it's more or less impossible to see what is real and what is not. I don't even know what life is. I mean, I'm getting more and more convinced that we're in some kind of a matrix. And if so, if we are in a matrix, then maybe good and evil doesn't exist the way we're being told. Maybe it is like we're watching the movie The Matrix, so that our life is sort of like we're living in a virtual reality. And in that case, maybe there is no such thing as real evil, even though it looks so real, it smells so real, it sounds so real. But it's like this whole thing with 3D reality, 4D reality, 5D reality. They're different. They're completely different. And at the same time, they're going on at the same time. So from a spiritual point of view, like what I call 5D reality, it's just like watching a movie. It's sort of shadows on the wall, just like the old Greeks were talking about, in the fire. So actually, the things that are playing out in front of us is the shadow from the fire. So where we actually should look is behind us or above us, instead of buying into this, oh, it's so real, oh, it's so real, oh, it's so real. And it's like when we attach the feeling of fear, that is where we get pulled down. When fear, doubt, all of these things start going dip, 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 and then you go into this down the stairs of all of these depressions and lower energies. That is the thing to become aware of, so that when you learn this, is also where Raj Yoga is so helpful, because it shows exactly when it happens, because then you can see, whoa, I'm on my way down. Stop it, because it's this one. It's your mind that is pulling you down, nothing else, nothing else. It's these filters that decides or deciphers what is reality for you. So, for instance, if you see something and you react in a certain way, it's based on your experiences, your filters, your possible traumas, your experiences of what love is supposed to be. If the exact same thing appears in front of me, I might interpret it differently.
Give me some example in your day-to-day life of what is real for you, in what is real for your own reality in your day-to-day life.
I can only say a perfect action is something that does no harm to anyone and some benefit to someone, yourself included. So I try to do no harm, and I try to enter every room in a way so that it is a little better once I leave it, that I've made something to lift it. I try to see people instead of just, and I also try to like cut up time in like small little chapters so that now when I talk to you, I'm completely focused on you and what we're talking about, not being distracted. I don't say I'm successful in this all the time, but this is my intention. But then, boom, when this finish, I will say hello to the cat. I will be there for the cat. Then I will go out through the door. I will treat the door peaceful so I don't slam it. I mean, because there's many different ways of being violent. You can be violent in your ways, or you can your words, or your like that. And then I go out and I might save a bee in the pool or whatever, but just take it like, okay, this, instead of saying I'm going to be like this the rest of my life, that's way too big for me. I'm going to do it for a month, way too big for me. Do it one step, one step, one step. And then the more steps that I am able to move forward within peace, the better my life becomes and the better for the surroundings as well. So I can't change the bigger picture. I can only change me. And so that's what I try to do. And it's like I really feel that I had some kind of soul contract that to do this thing that I've been doing. And that contract ended at New Year's Eve last year. It was like after I did the multiple interview with the JFK shooter, the guy that fired the final headshot. It was his shot that 43 years earlier started me. That was the thing that, whoa. And now for me to have done interviews directly with him, I have supported him with getting the truth out there. It was like, this is full circle for me. I've done everything I can, and I was crawling across the finishing line. After Christmas last year, I was just like, I was so exhausted.
How would you like to continue to support people today who want to understand, but also to heal in this world?
I do coachings. I mean, I'm not a coach, and at the same time, I'm coaching coaches. So it's really interesting for me, because many coaches that have been really good at what they're doing, now the world is turned upside down and they have absolutely no clue what is going on. So I come from a very different type of life where I lived frontline in the truth web and also exposed myself to very dark forces. So this can really be useful. And now I'm also being contacted by whistleblowers and people that are in the process of daring to step forward. So these type of
Sorry, what kind of coaching, Ole, do you
it's
do?
one-on-one.
One-on-one, individual coaching. Okay.
Yeah. And I also did like the 11 strong group, where it was like a more united, smaller group, which I thought was amazing also. And also I would like to do retreats. I would love to be used, The thing is, right now, at this point in time, I can't move freely in the world. There are quite many NATO countries do not like me at all. And I've been informed that I can face up to 18 years in prison in Sweden if I return. Actually, 22. years in prison because I've been speaking out against NATO, and they've changed the constitution of Sweden involving truth speaking as sort of they made a very gray area, turning it like in between truth speaking, revealing national security items, espionage and madness. They done this whole thing, and unfortunately, it's not only Sweden, but it's coming boom, boom, boom. Many European countries are doing the exact same thing. So since I prefer to be free, and I'm not saying yes to the offer of free housing and free food for the next 22 years, so I will stay away. But I will absolutely not be quiet. And so I just do my best. I have no intention of stopping it. I have an intention of expanding, and reaching out and I mean, my website, there's more than 1,300 interviews. So I'm also thought about the repackaging and redoing, because a lot of this information is timeless. So, and maybe do like e-courses or stuff like that on just like the questions you're asking, how to be able to discern what is true, what is not, what to look out for, what not to look out for. And the thing is, I've been asked, so how do you know that I haven't been manipulated as well? And I said, off 100% sure I've been manipulated, for sure. And I've been buying into a lot of these things, that I didn't see were traps and so. But at the same time, since I've been able to connect or predict, I think it's 77 of these alleged alleged terror attacks and alleged mass shootings up to 3 months before they occur. I think that shows that I've been able to debunk and decode their operations. And I spoke to Chip Tatum, who is a CIA whistleblower, who was the top assassin for President George Bush Sr. And he said that he's been part of false flag operations also during his career. And he said that their timeline with these type of operations are very tight. Many times something has to happen here to, for them so that they can pull off the next step and the next step and the next step. Like the truck attack in Stockholm had to happen with certain aspects there for them to get away with bombing Syria. The thing in Syria had to, so that they could carry on the next one. So if we go in and mess it up for them, he says the delay can be for months, sometimes years. So I said, let's keep messing it up for them. That is my great joy, to, in a complete non-violent way, mess it up, mess this timeline up for these dark forces.
Last question, Ole. What message would you like to pass on to those who are truly seeking for freedom, who feel still overwhelmed by the violence of today's world, and who are seeking to be free? And please, if you can also add your definition of freedom. What does it mean for you to be a free human being nowadays, if it's possible to be free?
What is freedom?
Yeah, what is freedom?
Freedom for me is to be able to speak openly, to be able to meet whoever I want openly, to be able to travel, to be able to experience, to be able to create and express in music and words and show my love to whoever it is. That for me, without freedom, I die. It's just like a plant without sunshine and water. It will just kill me. And I've been in these dark places where I've been so fearful and so in this dark spiral. it's not a good place to be. I mean, then life is not worth living. So freedom is essential, I think.
Don't you think do you think really that freedom has to do with freedom of movement? Because Nelson Mandela is really one of the example of the guy who was really free in his mind while being in prison for 28 years, if I remember well. Do you really think that freedom has to do with freedom of movement?
You're talking about Reuben Hurricane Carter, a boxer that was innocently put in prison for a triple murder that he hadn't committed. I mean, if you are on that level, then it shouldn't matter. I mean, it's like many spiritual masters, they say it shouldn't really matter where you are, what you're doing, but that is on a level of mastery that I can't deal with. For me, to be locked in, it's like sometimes I imagine, especially now when they're kind enough to offer me to be locked up for so many years, like just imagine being in a place, in a room where you cannot get out of, and it might be forever. Look at Rainer Fulmish right now, this incredible human being, and now he's locked up. I mean, there's so many examples of people either dead or locked up. So it's like it's hardcore. And once you're in there, I think that if I was locked up and I could not find a way out, I would focus spiritually. I was focused on my mind. But nowadays they drug you as well. That's part of the entrance ticket, So my God, it's an absolute horrendous situation to be in. So yes, I think freedom of movement, for me at least, very important. Once I start being able to float on water and, these type of things, then maybe it doesn't matter anymore. But until then, I really, really like to be able to move around.
How are what are your prevision or forecast prediction? I don't know how to say that in English, sorry, on the coming 10 years in terms of geopolitics.
10
What do you
years is
see?
I can't even see a month ahead.
Okay.
Maybe 2 months. 10 years. Oh my God.
How do
Oh
you
my
see the force,
God.
the games in the world, the different pools of influence leading the world among Asia or Middle East, or do you have
Uh,
any feeling about
yeah,
that?
I think that when you watch how a butterfly is created from a little fat bugger who's crawling around, just eating, I don't think that what you call it, larva, is aware of what the future can look like. I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that individual is aware that one day she will be able to fly and see the world from a whole different perspective. There's this individual eats, eats, eats. I'm sure it has a lot of dreams. One day, one day, one day, that's where I am now. One day, one day, one day. And then it just keeps eating, getting fatter and fatter. One day it's completely tired and it puts itself in a cocoon. In that cocoon, it liquefies. It's like this thing, they can't really explain what happens, but there's even killer cells like that commit suicide to energize the whole thing. Just like humanity right now, it seems like a lot of people might have voluntarily killed themselves through these vaccines things, possibly to energize this same process that the butterfly goes through to, I don't know, but that's the way where I can turn this into something beautiful instead of it's just horrendous. But in this liquid, then out of nowhere, suddenly wings comes out. I don't know. It's this divine boom. And then out of this little sleeping bag, we get a butterfly that just spreads its wings and can fly. And when you look at it, it looks like it has no skills of flying whatsoever. It just like falls around. At the same time, it can, I've seen it. They fly straight through a tree with all the wing. I mean, perfect like this. So I hope that this is what humanity is going through now. It's being separated by two cells in 3D reality, in 4D reality. We're being like this. This is why we can't communicate with each other anymore, also in certain areas. Just let each other go, bless each other, and separate the way things are happening right now. And I believe that I think very, very soon there will be this shift. I can't wait, I tell you. You look at the book of Revelations, it also says all of these horrors are going to be play out. It's almost like they're using it as a manual, yes, and the new messiahs will present itself as something fantastic, and then it will turn out that it's the absolute opposite. Oh my God, oh my God. But then it crashes, and out of that crash comes the new golden age. And so we are at the end of times. This is fantastic. It's absolutely awful and fantastic. Death and birth. And the Antichrist, yes, yes, it's so dark, of course. I mean, it's horrendous. It's so dark. If you buy into it, everything is crashing down, finances, all of that, boom, boom, boom. And then I think it's like so many movies. You have this build up, build up, build up, build up. And then when you're like 90, 95% through the movie, the hero, she is almost dying. She's fighting against all odds. It's like, oh, no, no, she's going to die. But then if she keeps her focus and her inner balance and just keep on, keep on, keep on, believe, keep the spirit high, the gratitude high, and then suddenly, boom, the end, da, 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 and the golden age is here.
Thank you,
So
Ole. Yeah, thank you. We will end on these beautiful words. Your community, my community, I think we are all ready for that takeoff of the butterfly.
yep.
And you
So
contribute a lot, dear Ole, to this preparation, and I'm so grateful for your fabulous work to make it real, this takeoff. So thank you for that beautiful fly.
thank you so much, Isabel. And can I please, anyone who's listening and watching this, please check out Isabel and what she's been doing with her life. She is living it. She is living it. And I love that, I don't know what to call it, this travel documentary you made, like
La route de la joie,
absolutely.
la route de la joie, the road of joy. Yes, thank you.
Yes, fantastic.
Thank you, Ole. I will end the interview and the recording. Tac.